Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone, and in our respected brothers that they're pushing and spreading the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua to the four corners of the world. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, I just want to do a quick lesson on this article, which is entitled Europe Allies Rally Behind Ukraine after defiant Zelensky rejects any peace plans that give up land to Russia. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall not hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord Yahweh, keep not silent, and give him no rest till he establish and till he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. We are not supposed to be silent. We're supposed to keep watch, and every little thing that we get, we got to tie to prophecy. So this is another attempt of that. This is another commandment being followed. Let me see if there's a video. There was a video I want to play real quick.
In all fairness to President Zelensky, he's getting everything he needs to assuming we get something done. But I'll be meeting very shortly with President Putin. It would have been sooner, but I guess there's security arrangements that unfortunately people have to make. Otherwise, I'd do it much quicker. He would too. He'd like to meet as soon as possible. I agree with it. But we'll be announcing that very shortly. You're looking at territory that's been fought over for 3.5 years with, a lot of Russians have died, a lot of Ukrainians have died. So we're looking at that, but we're actually looking to get some back and some swapping. It's complicated. It's actually nothing easy. It's very complicated, but we're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both. And but we'll be talking about that either later or tomorrow or whatever.
All right. So that's what's going on. But right here it says Ukraine rejects any peace plan that gives land to Russia. And right here it says members of the so-called coalition of the willing, countries which have pledged support for Ukraine against Russia's aggression, were quick to show their support, insisting that any deal must include Ukraine and Europe, warning its security is at stake. And the reason Europe cares is because Ukraine is sort of like the middle ground, the neutral space between the aggressor and their homeland. And, more than anything, they want to preserve that boundary. So they also want to get involved because it affects them. But, they have this suspicion that Babylon is trying to always set up deals behind their back. We saw that in the beginning of the year, and now more so than ever, they're all vigilant, and every time they hear of peace treaties, they always want to scramble and be part of that. Right? That's why it says here, let me see. Right, it says here, the show of unity came as the UK hosted a hastily arranged meeting of national security advisors from the US, Ukraine, and European countries on Saturday. So these men out here, they're scrambling to keep together their kingdom, showing you that their kingdom is coming to an end. But they are divided, and like Yahushua said, a house divided against itself. If Satan cast away Satan, I think he even says it also. Let me see. Um, right. And the house, Luke 11:17. But he said, knowing their thoughts, and said to them, every kingdom divided against its kingdom is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. Right? This is in Abraham Lincoln's quote. Like these fucking Edomites like to credit it to Abraham Lincoln, but it's talking about this is Yahweh's wisdom. And so we're seeing that now, and I don't want to make this video too long. It's pretty self-explanatory. There is a scramble for peace treaty, and we can only suspect what's going to happen next, but we know that ultimately Europe is going to ally themselves with Russia, or even if they don't, they're going to hate America, and in World War III they're going to fight against America, and they're going to burn American land with thermonuclear missiles. That's what's going to happen. We know that Russia, in the latter days, they are going to be joined with many people, many nations, the number of whom as the sands of the sea, pursuant to the book of Revelation, the 20th chapter. And when they are ready, they are going to come up against America. We know that in the end, Amalek, the so-called Israelis, they're going to do something that's going to piss off the entire world, and then these allies are going to be formed, and they're going to come up against America, and it will make America a desolate wilderness. Right? We know that the Russians, the Carmanians, they're gonna assemble all these Islamic nations, and they're gonna come up against Amalek, the so-called Israelis, and America. It's very simple. It's one narrative, and it's gonna happen. And everything that we see should we being watchmen, we should not hold our peace. We should keep saying it. We should keep reciting it until it comes to pass. That's what it says, till he established. What does establish mean, right? It's not just the kingdom of heaven, but also establish what prophecy foretells, right? So, with that, I'm gonna end right there. Shalom, Yahweh, Bashim, Shabbat, to all you Akim Sunakos listening in truth and sincerity. May the blessing of blessing be upon the house. Let me see if there's any interesting. So yeah, as of this moment, Putin and Trump are meeting in Alaska, right? Let me see. But Mr. Zelensky issued a staunch warning to the international community that any agreement reached without Ukraine would ultimately fail, because, like I said, they are meeting. You have only America, and you have Trump, which is basically America, and Putin, Russia. It's just them meeting in Alaska, right? And so it says President Trump's decision to meet Mr. Putin has fueled fears that Ukraine could be sidelined in efforts to end the war. Now you understand why these nations are scrambling together to support Ukraine. It says European leaders have rallied in support of Ukraine. So already you see the separation, you see the division in the kingdoms. Members of the so-called coalition of the willing, countries which have pledged support for Ukraine against Russia's aggression, were quick to show their support, insisting that any deal must include Ukraine and Europe. And what happens when they decide that America doesn't have their best interests at heart? When they find out that America, seen as how they live on the other side of the ocean, they don't really care what happens to the other side of the world. They will come together and they will destroy America. Already this guy is doing things that are against American interests, which is what recognizing Palestinian state. It's a dangerous time we're living in, and it's time for us to take our salvation more seriously than ever, because salvation, the doors of repentance are getting ready to close. Already there are efforts being made for the famine of the world. YouTube is trying to come up with new ways, to secure its platform, and having brothers do all kinds of shenanigans, like verification, which is like too invasive, right? Which exposes you too much. They're doing what you call, you got brothers camp spots being shut down. Literally, it's the sidewalk that they will be on is like, they have like wood, right? They've cut it off, they've blocked it. So the time, we're getting dangerously close to the day of the Lord. I'm talking about the day of the Lord's already here, but I'm talking about that the actual morning, Jacob's trouble. Okay, we already see earthquakes in diverse places, natural disasters. I mean, at this point, man, the only thing happening is what prophecy. That's the only thing happening. So with that, until next time, Shalom.